You. Here we go, Wildcat fans. Sunday afternoon. We are back at the Eagan Civic Arena. Bit of a bittersweet day as we all go back to school tomorrow and work. Different lineup look this afternoon as your Eagan Wildcats face the St. Paul Capitals. Eagan Wildcats in their home white, skating right to left. On the ice for your Wildcats, Laurent, Kalagi, Klenner, Gannon, and Prouty. Quick offside against St. Paul. Yields a neutral zone drop, near side bubble, Eagan half of the ice. Back in net is Noah McPherson. Off the face-off, neutral ice, controlled by St. Paul. They take the offensive zone, wheel around in the far corner, overskate it. Slides to Prouty. Prouty tries to go up to Gannon. That's a quick shot from the top side circle. Sails wide right. A fan up at the point. Leaves the puck loose. Eagan clears the zone back to neutral ice. Controlled by St. Paul. Now it's a pickoff at the right side of the red line by Gannon. He tried to go the other way and had his pocket picked. Now St. Paul is coming back. Laurent with the puck. He's looking cross ice, sends it over to Nolan Kalagi. Kalagi, stretch pass for Everett Sy. Comes up a little bit short. Stricker, Austin Sy, Kalagi, and Laurent are on the ice. Austin takes it back behind his own goal line, goes off the boards for Kalagi. Kalagi, cross ice pass to Sy at the red line. Sy. Nice pass to Stricker right through the high slot. That sails wide, picked up by St. Paul. St. Paul clears it as Rudolph enters the fray. So Rudolph, backhand pass to Donahue. We have three new defenders today in Donahue, Rudolph, and Kalagi. And Laurent, after a little bit of a break, he is back on the D-line. Bauman, Prouty, Donahue, Rudolph, and Klenner line up to take the face-off, neutral zone, near side bubble. St. Paul wins the face-off. They take the offensive zone, go along the far boards. Bit of a check by Rudolph. No call forthcoming. They're going to let him play. Something Eagan did not do super well yesterday was playing physical so far today. They're up to the challenge. St. Paul has a 3-on-2 going the other way. Nice breakout pass along the far boards. Shot by Guffey. Pad save McPherson. St. Paul still controls the puck. They're going to cycle it up top to the far point. That shot doesn't get through traffic as Donahue's down low battles. And swings it out to Klenner. Klenner. Back to Donahue. Donahue to Prouty. Prouty. Cross ice pass for Elliot Bauman. Bauman takes it back to neutral ice. He's looking to get it deep as Eagan gets a change. We've got Laurent and Kalagi back at D. Stricker and Sy at forward. Shot, save, cover. St. Paul, they were left all alone, back door. Nice pass from the top of the point, down low. But McPherson, he's up to it, covers it. We'll have a face-off deep in the Eagan defensive zone, topside circle. Stricker to take the face-off. He's got Sy on his left and Gannon on his right. St. Paul wins the face-off. They're going to take a shot right from the high slot. Pad save McPherson. Brought out by Laurent. Laurent to Sy. Sy swings it over back to Kalagi. As he goes up the far boards for Gannon, he outpasses him a little bit. Picked up by St. Paul. Nice job, Sy. He dumps it deep. Stricker and Gannon chase. Kalagi pinches. St. Paul goes around him. A little bit of a hook. Kalagi may have gotten away with one there. but nice job by Laurent. He came over and stopped that puck, so Egan had an offensive opportunity, but now that's going the other way for St. Paul. Austin, good poke check. He's joined by Prouty, Rudolph, Donahue, and Cy. Austin. He makes the left winger miss. He comes all the way to the logo. Passes near side to Everett Cy. Cy takes it near side circle. He's all alone. He comes right. His backhand shot stuffed out at the far post. Prouty holds his own, gets it back to Austin. Austin back to Prouty. Prouty's going to tap it back to Austin. Cy skates through the middle of the crease, or zone rather, to exit as Wyatt Klenner hops on. Klenner comes all the way to the puck, knocks it to Prouty as Prouty gets it back to Donahue. Donahue back at his own goal line. Swings it up to Klenner. St. Paul finds it at the point. They dump it deep, near side corner. Donahue is joined by Klenner as that puck is pinched up against the boards. Now Prouty comes away with it. Prouty up to Klenner. Sorry, Austin. There's Klenner. So Austin's pass to Klenner goes up behind him. It's a little bit of a cross check to the back. No call. So these referees really are letting him play early on in this first period. St. Paul snags at center ice. They're going to throw it deep into the Eagan defensive zone and get 5 new skaters. Laurent off the boards. That's a great job. He saw it was going to St. Paul. He squirted it in. Grabbed that puck and threw it in the offensive zone. Cy, Stricker, Bauman, Laurent, and Kolagi on the ice in the offensive zone. Bauman doing a nice job holding the zone on the far boards. Pops it out to Kolagi. Kolagi's shot. That gets all the way through. And that's covered and whistled. So we'll get a face-off in the Eagan offensive zone, topside circle. Nice job by Kolagi using a strong shot from the top of the point. 2 new defensemen on the ice for your Wildcats, and Rudolph and Donahue. Same 3 forwards as Stricker lines up, takes the face-off, slides it over to Bauman. Donahue holds the line. He's going to dump it deep. Shot on goal, stick save. Leaves it for another St. Paul defenseman. Looks up ice, stretch pass off the far boards, picked off by Rudolph. Rudolph does a nice job backhand getting into the Eagan offensive zone. But in doing so, St. Paul, they snuck back behind the defense. Puck is loose. There's 3 of them. Nice job, McPherson. He stands tall, knocks that down with a pad, and covers it. St. Paul leading early on in shots, 4 shots on net to 1. Score still knotted up at 0. 7:58 remaining in the first period. Prouty lines up at center. He's got Klenner on his left, Rudolph and Gannon on his right. Donahue back behind. Pass in, handled by St. Paul. As now Egan's able to knock it into the corner. So Prouty, Klenner, and Donahue are all there. Cross pass by St. Paul, slides through the crease. Nice stick by McPherson, knocks that away. Donahue takes it back behind his own net. Pass up to Klenner. Klenner can't catch up to it. Bouncing shot off the shin pad of McPherson. That clearing pass is, just misses wide right. As I thought maybe that was going to be on net to avoid the icing, but icing is the call. So we'll come back into the Eagan defensive zone. Laurent, Kolagi, Austin, Stricker, and Cy. Stricker lines up to save the face-off to McPherson's left-hand side. Pushes it up. Nice job, Austin. He squared it up to grab that as it was going behind the D. Forced in the offensive zone. St. Paul clears it back to center ice. Laurent over to Kolagi. Kolagi to Cy. Cy comes near side circle. He's got an avenue. What a pass to Stricker. A little bit too much mustard. Stricker couldn't handle the heat. Zone held by Kolagi. Slides it over to Cy. Cy loses an edge. St. Paul trying to flip the ice, but Beckett Laurent grabs it and throws it over to Caden Austin. Austin along the far boards. He gets overwhelmed by jerseys. Now nice poke check. Shot by Stricker. Pad save. Squirts out wide left in the near side corner. Stricker again, his pass deflected by St. Paul as they come the other way. Lob pass back out to center as handled by Laurent. Laurent to Cy. Cy, he's got Austin. Oh, just outside of his outstretched hands. He finds it up against the boards. Prouty, he's there to help him out. Prouty slides it back to the St. Paul Capitals net. Austin, he takes a change. As Bauman comes up to hold the line just for a moment, that'll be offside Egan, as Prouty tried to hold it. Klenner, Prouty, Bauman, Rudolph, Donahue. Face-off falls to Rudolph near the red line, dumps it in the offensive zone. St. Paul, they throw it back down. That will be icing if it gets there, and it does not. So Rudolph is back first. He picks it up, takes it back behind his own net. Pass it over to Donahue. Donahue looks up ice to Klenner. Klenner up to Prouty. Prouty takes it right to the high slot. He has it poke checked away. Back to center ice. Bauman's back on side. Puck is pinched along the far boards. Rudolph handles it back at his own blue line. Strong pass over to Klenner at the near side wing. Rudolph back behind his own net now. They regroup. Slides it up to Elliot Bauman. Bauman's pass deflected. Near boards for Donahue. Donahue sneaks up. He's got it along the near boards. Stricker joins. Tries to help him out, and the puck pops free to Ethan Rudolph. Rudolph sees a lot of open ice. He squirts it on up to Cy as he reaches the red line. That puck slides into the far corner. Rudolph throws it back behind the St. Paul goal line. St. Paul catches up to it. They do a bounce pass back behind their own net. As Laurent and Kolodji are back for your Wildcats. That puck goes all the way end to end for an icing. So come back down into the St. Paul defensive zone. 4:25 remaining in the first period. Stricker, Cy, Gannon, Laurent, and Kolodji. Nice pass. Stricker to Gannon to Laurent. Laurent, that's a shot! It deflects into the goal near side post. Beckett Laurent on the board. So Beckett Laurent puts Egan up 1-0, 4:19 remaining in the first period. Stricker, Cy, Gannon, Laurent, Kolodji still on the ice. Noah McPherson back in net, protector of the posts. Egan wins the faceoff, pushes the offensive zone, but the Capitals are looking to flip the ice, and now they do, as Egan's got to get back, and Kolodji touch pass up to Stricker. Stricker along the near boards. Oh, nice outlet pass, looking for Gannon, knocked down by a stick by St. Paul. Laurent's back off the boards to Gannon. Gannon back to Laurent. Laurent now to Stricker. Puck is loose. Gannon tries to catch up to it. He does. He's got speed. He's got Cy on his left. He goes to the right. Reverses direction. Backwards pass out to Prouty. Prouty mishandles the puck at the blue line. And St. Paul comes the other way. St. Paul, they've got an odd man rush. That's a shot. Pad saving cover. McPherson. So Egan had an opportunity. I think that Gannon should have slid that puck over to Cy. But instead, he held it up and went back to his defenseman to try to cycle it out and get some more offensive zone time. On the ice now for your Wildcats, it is Klenner, Donahue, Rudolph, Prouty, and Austin. So it looks like we are short one James Lawrence this afternoon. The Wildcats will try to keep up the energy as he is our motor. Graham Prouty takes it himself. It's a 2-on-4 as Klenner joins. Prouty dumps it as the rest of the Wildcats are now in the offensive zone. Prouty to Klenner to Austin. Austin shot! That is off the top post. Klenner with the rebound near side boards. He reverses direction. Centering pass to Prouty. Prouty, his shot. Slides it just wide right. 2 quality scoring opportunities here by your Wildcats late in the first period. Prouty and Klenner have it pinched up along the far boards. Klenner comes away with it. Out to Donahue. Donahue slides it over to Rudolph. Rudolph from the top of the post. He's going to wrap it around for Klenner back down the St. Paul goal line. Klenner, he turns it around, whips it right back. No one's home for Eagan Wildcats as St. Paul controls the puck, far side corner. Prouty, he just robs him right along the far corner. He comes up, and that pass is right there for Klenner, but it was kind of a floating pass, couldn't handle it. Slides wide. Now center pass again. There's Prouty. He lobs it, looking for a corner. That's a glove save, St. Paul. Great offensive possession. 1:58 remaining in the first period. Laurent, Kolaji, Stricker, Sy, and Bauman on the ice. That's a face-off to the St. Paul netminder's right-hand side, near side bubble. St. Paul wins it. They try to wrap it along the near boards. But Stricker, he's able to tap it back to Sy. Sy up to Laurent. Laurent, nice offensive move right through the crease. His shot just sails high. Rebounded by Sy. Sy goes to the mid-slot looking for Laurent. But that's St. Paul. They take it. They come the other way. It's a 1-on-2 as Kolaji and Stricker are both back. Shot from the top side circle. Masterful save by McPherson. Now we've got Sy to Stricker. It's a 2-on-3. Stricker's got Sy along the near boards. He skates it wide. He wraps it around back behind the St. Paul net. Picked up by Sy. Sy touch pass back to where Stricker was, but Stricker is going for a rest as he changes spots with Graham Prouty. St. Paul comes the other way. Eagan lets him skate right through the slot all the way down. Big time save, McPherson. Eagan gave him a lane and McPherson shut it down. Rudolph with the puck up to Prouty. Prouty looking for Klenner, bouncing puck, knocked down by St. Paul right at the center logo. Loose puck handled by Prouty up to Gannon. Gannon tries to take it to the center line. He gets his pocket picked, but Prouty's there to support. St. Paul doing a nice job crawling back to get on sides. They come near side circle. That's a shot. That sails a little wide, hits the back of the net, and sails up to the far point. They throw it back down behind McPherson as Donahue's there. He handles it. Great pass up to Rudolph. That outlet pass taken away by Gannon. Gannon gets it poke checked right at the blue line. Prouty holds up for a second, tries to throw it deep, and he gets thwarted. Now Rudolph calmly collects it, throws it down. Gannon is there. They're going to call offside. Oh, they're end of the first period. So the buzzer is not turned on. There you go, buzz buzz. So end of one period, score, Eagan Wildcats 1, St. Paul Capitals 0. Welcome back to the second period. Eagan Wildcats against the St. Paul Capitals. Eagan Wildcats in the home whites getting left to right. Starting out on the ice, Stricker, Austin, Sy, Kolaji, and Laurent. McPherson back in net. They're going to call an icing on this as St. Paul sends it down behind the Eagan goal line. So we'll come all the way back into the Eagan offensive zone to the St. Paul netminder's left-hand side. Stricker lines up to take the face-off. He's got Sy on his left, Austin on his right, Kolaji and Laurent behind. St. Paul wins the face-off. Knock it down to the far side corner. Breakout pass deflected momentarily by Austin. St. Paul flips the ice. That shot gets deflected by Austin back behind the Eagan goal line. Drop pass taken away by Kolaji. Kolaji up the near boards. Stretches it out to Austin. Austin somehow went behind his back, through his legs, and got this puck to Stricker. Stricker dumps it deep for Everett Sy. Everett Sy takes it back behind the St. Paul Capitals net as Stricker changes places with Prouty. Now Kolaji back at the point. That shot, that's a beautiful screen by Austin, but that gets deflected by the goaltender into the pipe. Laurent now down Main Street. That shot just wide left. Two quality scoring opportunities here early in the second period for Eagan. St. Paul stretches it out. They will say it was not tipped, so they'll call. Oh, they're going to wave icing, I guess. So the referee down low had icing called, but they switched it up. Eagan skates back. They collect the puck, and Kolaji, he's going to go end-to-end, swings it over for Gannon. Gannon, that shot going for top side corner. Glove save, St. Paul. Nice possession by your Eagan Wildcats as Kolaji flips the ice, slides it over for Gannon to get a quality shot on net. So the face-off to the St. Paul netminder's left-hand side in their own defensive zone. Gannon, Prouty, Bauman, Rudolph, Donahue. Face-off goes the way of St. Paul. They clear it out to center ice. Great poke check by Donahue as sails to an advancing left winger. They come out near side circle. Rudolph with a great poke check. Sends out to Gannon. Gannon, touch pass to Bauman. Bauman, nice job to Rudolph. Rudolph coming up the near side. His shot sails on him wide left. Sails past Gannon, but Donahue holds the zone. St. Paul wraps around their own goal to the near side of the ice where Rudolph is there to knock it back in to Prouty. Bauman and Prouty, they knock that off, cut it off. It's a shot right from the top of the slot by Rudolph. That gets deflected, ends up back on his stick. Somehow he slides it out. Goaltender saw it to paddle it out wide. St. Paul with the puck along the far boards. They're to come back out to center ice. Donahue collects it, throws it deep. Eagan gets some fresh skaters. Rudolph stays on the ice. Laurent joins him, along with Austin, Stricker, and Klenner. St. Paul with a rush. Puck sails a little bit wide on him. Maintained by Rudolph as he swings it over for Caden Austin. Austin, cross ice pass to Klenner. Klenner, he's going to dump it deep. Back on the St. Paul goal line. Stricker applies some pressure. Nice job by Austin. He gets it. Oh, ho, ho. So Austin came in, got some stick on that puck as it spun right in front of the netminder. He covered it up, so the face-off to the St. Paul Capitals netminder's left-hand side. Near side bubble. Kolaji, Laurent, Austin, Stricker, and Klenner. St. Paul. It's a 1-on-4. He comes all the way back. Then he thinks second. He thinks about it. Nice pass. Right to the mid slot. And that is a goal. I think that McPherson had to save that 3 times before finally found the back of the net, hit his right pad, his left pad, and then scored it in, 5-hole. So St. Paul with a lucky bounce. They come back to even us up at 1 apiece. Time of the goal was 3 minutes 40 seconds into the second period. Prouty, Cy, Gannon, Rudolph, Donahue. Prouty takes the face-off, slides it over to Cy. Cy runs into traffic right at the red line. St. Paul, they throw it deep into the Eagan defensive zone. Rudolph is there to handle it. Rudolph to Gannon. Gannon back up to center ice. Nice poke check by Everett Cy. Cy tries to take the offensive zone. Great effort play. Breakout pass though, falls to St. Paul. And Rudolph with a nice poke check. So Eagan with active sticks all game. Donahue unable to exit the zone. Prouty's there to help out. Gets it back to center ice. St. Paul regroups, brings it near boards. Rudolph with a check. He will go to the box for a cross check. All right, so Rudolph claims the first period of the game with 9:34 remaining in the second period. Face off to McPherson's right-hand side as we have Kolagi, Laurent, Austin, and Bauman on the ice to start this PK. Face off taken by Austin. Shot by St. Paul, deflected and taken away by Laurent. Laurent up the boards to Bauman. Bauman, he loses an edge. St. Paul walks up in. That's a shot and a blocker save by McPherson. Slides out to Austin. Austin takes it back. Ooh, a streaking. Bauman couldn't catch up to it. They're going to wave off icing. St. Paul Capitals player loses an edge as Bauman has the puck back on the St. Paul goal. He's going to do a wraparound, strong shot right into the pad of the St. Paul netminder. He's able to cover it up. We'll have a face-off in the St. Paul defensive zone as Eagan was able to kill off 32 seconds of the power play so far. Shots on goal 8 for Eagan, 11 for St. Paul. Klenner, Stricker, Kolagi, and Laurent. Quick shot off the face-off by Klenner. Covered. Another 3 seconds. Tick off the clock as we line up for an offensive zone face-off once again. Stricker slides it over far boards, picked up and controlled by St. Paul. St. Paul, they take the offensive zone with speed. It's a 3-on-1. They come around. Far side, do not slide it over. That shot deflected by McPherson. Wide, back behind the net. And wrapped around by Laurent to Kolagi. Kolagi gets it back, and that is an offside. As Honish tried to hold up. Puck slides across the blue line, offside. We'll have a neutral zone drop here, near side bubble, Eagan half of the ice. Kolagi, Donahue, Stricker, and Austin. I'm sorry, and Klenner still on the ice. St. Paul takes it, gets his pocket picked by Kolagi. Kolagi sends it back to center ice. 25 seconds remaining in the PK. St. Paul had a nice 3-on-2 opportunity before their center kind of outskated the puck. 9 seconds remaining on the penalty kill. Stricker over to Klenner. Klenner takes it to center ice. Has it taken from him at the St. Paul blue line. We are now full strength. St. Paul, they slide it over. That shot deflected, saved by McPherson. 7:52 remaining in the second period. As there looked to be some issues with the penalty box, and Rudolph was not let out on time, but no harm done as we now have 5 skaters on the ice. Face off to McPherson's right-hand side, near side bubble. Prouty, Gannon, Donahue, Rudolph, and Cy. Donahue sends it up to Cy. Well, on the far board side, nice job, pass to himself. He is tripped up by the blue line. Puck sails back behind the St. Paul goal line. Gannon's there, Prouty's there to support. Gannon and Prouty, they're just pushing bodies back and forth. Gannon lost the stick, the puck comes out. All right, so that's a penalty against Will Gannon, not Will Gannon. It was a roughing. So Baker from St. Paul, he goes to the box for 130. Eagan Wildcats go on power play. Now we have Prouty, Gannon on his right, Sy on his left, Rudolph and Donahue behind. Nice pass back to Rudolph. Rudolph, he's got time. He slides it up as I don't know what that was. We have a buzzer, but it was 7:17 remaining. So we'll come back and do it again. Coach is getting the explanation from the referee. It looks like the penalty was not put up on the board. Now it is. So they blew the buzzer to halt play. And we will start over. All right, same lineup. Prouty again. Would love to do that a second time. Just tap it back to Rudolph for a quick shot from the near point. Prouty goes near post with it. Controlled by St. Paul. St. Paul off the boards. Rudolph collapses on the puck. Slides over to Gannon. Gannon back out to Rudolph. Rudolph over to Donahue. Nice DDD pass. Come back over to Rudolph again. Rudolph. He knocks it down back behind the St. Paul net. Sy is there to pick it up. Sy turns, reverses direction. He's looking to hit the slot. Mid-slot goes off a Gannon stick to Rudolph. Now to Donahue. Donahue back down to Sy. Sy tries to hit the D, and Donahue is one too many passes. St. Paul slides that down all the way on net. Tapped by McPherson. Slides it up to Rudolph. Rudolph comes up with speed, near boards, tries to slide over for Prouty, hits the skate of one of the Capitals as they're able to take it up to center ice, and Laurent to Gannon. Gannon sends it down. They're going to call no offside as we came off the ice and went back on. But here we go. St. Paul controls the puck back to center ice. Poke check by Bauman. You got Bauman, Austin, Prouty, Kolodji. Laurent back to Kolodji. 7 seconds remaining in the power play as Bauman collects the puck at center ice. He takes it near side. He takes a shot. That's covered by St. Paul. We're back at 5-on-5 hockey as the penalty has expired. Eagan Wildcats getting merely one shot on net. So I love the passing by Eagan as they definitely went. They used their defensemen. They came out. They cycled the puck down low. When we see an open lane, we got to take it. Noah McPherson, he heads off the ice as Brody Verstraat enters the crease. Stricker holds his own and attacks. We've got Stricker, Austin, Bauman, Kolodji, and Laurent. Austin pinches. Bouncing puck falls to Elliot Bauman. Bauman muscles his way down to the near side corner. Tries to hand it off to Austin, but that sails back up to the top of the point. Handled by Kolodji. Kolodji muscles his way to the midboards. Stricker's there to help. Zone held by Beckett Laurent. Laurent slides it over for Kolodji near side. Kolodji's shot, stick save and cover by St. Paul, so we'll have a near side face-off offensive zone. Rudolph, Donahue, Gannon, Prouty, Klenner. Shots now even at 12 apiece. More than halfway through the first period. Prouty wins the face-off. Throws it close to the St. Paul goaltender, but picked up by St. Paul. Gannon picks his pocket right in the low post. He can't get around to take a shot before that's taken off of his stick. Donahue to Klenner. Eagan unable to hold the line as St. Paul comes the other way. Great back checking by Eagan as they came back with numbers. Gannon collapses in the corner, slides over Rudolph. Rudolph up to Klenner. Klenner, he's going to dump it deep back behind the St. Paul goal line as he's going to take a break. Everett Sy comes on the ice. So Sy, Gannon, Kolaji, here comes Gannon off a turnover. That's a shot. That's up and that's over. Oh my goodness, that was so close. So the goaltender knocked that up and over the net as Eagan had a nice turnover opportunity. Now St. Paul coming the other way. That's a shot from the mid slot. Blocked and covered by Verstraat. So face-off forthcoming. 3:55 remaining in the second period. Near side bubble to Verstraat's right-hand side. Kolaji, Laurent, Sy, Stricker, and Austin. Stricker takes the face-off, slides it over for Austin. Austin surveys the ice. He takes it back behind his own net. Looking far side for Everett Sy. Taps off of his skate, zone held by St. Paul. Now Laurent. Nice job. He passed that up off the boards and had to glove it down himself. There's a pile up. As Sy comes away with it. It's a one-on-one going the other way. He's got the defenseman beat far side. And that is a takedown, so there's a delayed penalty. But Stricker has the puck. Stricker, he tries to center it. And now it's whistled down. So you're going to call a trip. There are 3 or 4 conditions I think you have to meet for it to be eligible for a penalty shot. And the referees have deemed it was not eligible. So we will have an Eagan Wildcat power play. 3:19 remain in the second period. Stricker, Gannon, Bauman, Kolaji, and Laurent. Bauman takes it on the far boards. Drop pass to Laurent. Laurent. He takes it off the board himself. Far side circle. Pass to Stricker right through the slot. That falls down. Is knocked down by St. Paul. St. Paul. St. Paul comes the other way. Bit of a physical play there. Fans like it. St. Paul clears the net. Eagan throws it offside. So the neutral is drop here near side bubble. St. Paul half of the ice. 1:13 remaining on the power play. As Stricker has Gannon on his right, Bauman on his left. Rudolph and Donahue back behind him. Gannon slides it over for Donahue. Donahue, top half of the ice. He's going to squirt it down. They're going to call offside as one of the Wildcats snuck off past the blue line early. So another 7 seconds have ticked off the power play clock. And now we've got a face-off, top bubble, neutral ice. Stricker, back to Gannon. Gannon, he's going to cycle it. Leave pass for his defenseman. He didn't even take a look, so no one was there. St. Paul comes away with it with an opportunity for a shorthanded goal. They come the other way. They get pushed out by Donahue. Donahue, he steals the puck. He's got Bauman and Gannon. Gannon's way offside. So 46 seconds remaining in the power play. As well, if yet another neutral zone drop. Eagan struggling to get anything going here on the offensive end to take advantage of the opportunity in front of them. Austin, Prouty, Klenner, Kolaji, Laurent. St. Paul controls the faceoff. They cycle it up to Laurent. Laurent to Prouty. Prouty tries to slide it up for Klenner, taken away by St. Paul. Austin on the near boards. Offside, St. Paul with a near side face-off here. Eagan half the ice, only 29 seconds remaining in the player advantage. Prouty takes the face-off. Slides it over to Austin. Austin on the near boards. He runs into a blue jersey. They throw it back into the Eagan defensive zone. Laurent He skates back, picks it up, far boards, goes off the boards to himself. Zone held by St. Paul. 10 seconds remaining on the power play. St. Paul, that's a shot. Wow, that was a shot, a bullet from the near side point. And then there was a player there at the post for a rebound, but it was blocked by Verstraat. But now somehow Prouty comes away with it, far side. So Prouty able to flip the ice. We're now 5-on-5 as the penalty has expired. St. Paul controls the puck. They're out. Their breakout pass, a little bit too hard. Stifled by Donahue. Donahue pinches high. Prouty and Kolodji are back for Eagan, as Kolodji takes it back beyond his own net. Up to Austin. Austin gets poked away, near side bubble. Skates back. Hands it off to Kolodji. Kolodji back to Austin. Austin makes one player miss. Can't make the second miss. But Donahue's back to recover it. Now he's able to escape the zone. No icing, as that puck won't make it there. Recovered by St. Paul as Eagan gets some fresh skaters. In Rudolph, Gannon, Sy, and Stricker. St. Paul, they bring it up, lose the puck right at center ice. Stricker tries to throw it deep into the offensive zone. Knocked down by St. Paul. St. Paul, they've got 3 players on the near side of the ice and only 1 defenseman in front of them. So Rudolph to track them. Brody Verstraat! I didn't see it. I had no idea where that puck was. I thought it was in the back of the net. Verstraat, like a magician, grabs it with his glove and stifles the St. Paul Capitals as they were salivating over the prospect of the go-ahead goal. 16.4 seconds remaining in the second period. Gannon, Sy, Stricker, Donahue, Rudolph. Stricker slides it down for Rudolph, who takes it back behind his own net. Backhand pass over to Donahue. Now to Sy. Sy back to center ice. He's got nose time. Buzzer sounds as he crosses the red line. We are tied at 1 apiece. Here we are, period 3. All tied up at 1 apiece. Shots on goal, 14 for your Eagan Wildcats, 15 for the St. Paul Capitals. So your Eagan Wildcats finishing off this game, going right to left in their home whites. Sy will join Bauman and Austin. In the faceoff circle behind them is Kolodji and Laurent. Brody Verstraat settles in his crease, looking calm and ready to go. St. Paul wins the faceoff, but Everett Sy pushes it into the Eagan offensive zone. St. Paul slides it back. Kolodji to Laurent. Laurent, nice job getting back to Kolodji. Kolodji takes the offensive zone. He goes right through the slot. Touch pass over to, looking for for Austin. Austin has to do some magic to get around the left D. Takes it back behind the net. What a pass! Looking for Sy right out front. That was deflected and saved by St. Paul. Good forecheck. holds up St. Paul at their own blue line before they are able to recover it and take the offensive zone. Cy, now to Austin. Austin does not clear it. St. Paul sends it flying down into the Eagan top side corner. Kolodji and Bauman. Kolodji comes away with it, slides it up to Austin. Austin back to center ice. St. Paul takes it though, they cycle to one-on-one. Conway from the near side bubble. He makes a nice move. Gets Eagan knocked out of their boots, but in doing so, he knocks himself off the puck also, so Eagan's able to control it. Laurent, far side. Touch pass. As they try to extend the ice, slides down to Cy. Laurent holds his own, dumps it deep near side corner. Cy and Laurent are going to come off the ice as Klenner and Donahue come on the ice. Nice job by Prouty holding the zone. Backhand pass slides into the goalie's mitt, so a face-off. Top side circle to the goaltender's left-hand side, Eagan offensive zone. Rudolph, Donahue, Prouty, Gannon, Klenner. St. Paul wins the face-off. They knock it deep into their own zone, back behind their own goal line. The right defenseman making a nice move to get around to the outside. Out here comes St. Paul. They send it deep into the Eagan defensive zone. Rudolph skates back to gather it, leaves it for himself, spins around. Donahue's there to help. St. Paul still has the puck. It's loose out front, one shot, two shot, big time save by a big time goaltender. Klenner comes out with the puck near boards. He takes it to center ice, drops it for Rudolph. Rudolph makes a man fall down. He comes around to the left-hand post, and that shot goes up into the netting. So a face-off near side bubble offensive zone as Ethan Rudolph. I've done that several times on the broadcast. Mason Rudolph is a quarterback, not a hockey player. So Ethan Rudolph breaking ankles. Really nice possession there by the defenseman. Laurent, Kolodji, Austin, Stricker, and Cy are on the ice. Laurent does a nice job holding the zone before St. Paul throws it, or lobs it rather, down the ice, forcing Kolodji to come back and pick it up. Kolodji to Laurent to Austin. Back to St. Paul. Great job, Eagan. Getting after that puck as it slides down to Cy near boards. That shot by St. Paul swings wide left out to the far boards. Austin controls it, looking for time and space. Dangerous pass knocked away by St. Paul right to the low slot. Laurent's there, holds the puck, has it taken away. St. Paul, near side point. They're going to throw it down. Blocked by Verstraat. Picked up by St. Paul. Back up to the point. It was a one-timer bouncing puck right through the slot. Picked up by St. Paul. That shot deflected. And that's, oh my goodness, wide open net as the puck sails to the near side post. And St. Paul unable to connect on it. So Eagan getting away with one there. Austin comes up the ice to Cy. Cy lets it bounce off the boards. He's going to gather it up and leaves it for a streaking forward. Had there been one, no one was there for Eagan. As St. Paul collects it. That's a hand pass. Oh, they're going to say no hand pass. Wow. As Gannon comes on the ice, holds the zone before St. Paul's able to throw it back to center ice. So Cy's back to collect it. You got Cy, Donahue, Rudolph, Gannon, and Bauman. Bauman takes that offensive zone, throws it down, far side corner. Cy and Bauman both collapse on the puck. St. Paul, they're able to get it back to center ice. It's a 1-on-2 going the other way. Nice speed on that center, but a great poke check by that Ethan Rudolph. Gets it to Donahue, up to Gannon. Turnover by caused by Bauman. He makes a player miss. He comes right down. That's a shot deflected and covered. Bauman making things happen. Really nice possession. Really nice ability of Elliott to get down to the top side circle and get a quality shot on net. So the face-off to the St. Paul netminders left-hand side, top side circle. Eagan offensive zone. Klenner, Prouty, Gannon, Donahue, and Rudolph. Take down at the center of the circle. St. Paul comes away with it. Slides free to Rudolph. Rudolph up to Klenner. Klenner takes it near boards and dumps it deep. Does a nice job. St. Paul, they took their time. Nice pass down low for Gannon. Backhand pass, save. Secondary shot by Klenner. Another save by St. Paul. As Eagan, they fail to come up with a goal on a very, very good scoring opportunity. Now St. Paul, they take the puck off of Rudolph's stick right at the top of the point, going the other way. But Donahue skates through the stick of the forward before they're able to get a shot on net that sails high and wide. Near side boards picked up by Klenner. Klenner gets it knocked free right at the red line, center line. Prouty is able to deflect it wide, but falls to a St. Paul Capital. They're going to come up into the offensive zone. They try to get it deep, knocked around by Prouty. Prouty to Rudolph. Rudolph up to Austin. Austin. Austin takes it far boards, his shot. Wide right, bounces back behind the goal line. And picked up. So we are going to get a penalty against St. Paul, though, for a slash. So as Austin was going to shoot that, St. Paul got a little aggressive. They're going to go to the sin bin for 130. 8:21 remaining in the contest. 130 on the board as your Eagan Wildcats go on the power play. Laurent, Kolaji, Austin, Stricker, and Cy. Stricker takes the face-off, slides it over, far boards. But St. Paul gets it. They've got a 2-on-1 going the other way. Short-handed opportunity. Kolaji's back. That pass picked off by Laurent. Cy. Oh, he tried to spin around the puck. Forced up to Laurent for a breakout. Skates past the puck. And St. Paul holds the offensive zone. Puck sails free back behind the Eagan red line. Picked up by Kolaji. Kolaji up off the boards to Cy. Cy muscles his way past the defenseman. Tries to pass it. Gets kicked down by the St. Paul defenseman. As Cy was looking at a streaking Stricker. Now Kolaji takes a shot from the top of the point. Falls back to Cy. Cy past the Stricker. Just hit between his legs. Can't control it. Laurent now has it off the boards. Loses it to St. Paul as Eagan has to regroup. Austin passes to Kolaji. St. Paul, they get some fresh legs on the ice as Kolaji comes right through the center logo. Drop pass to Bauman, knocked away by St. Paul. St. Paul coming the other way. It's a good back check by Eagan. St. Paul still has the puck, near side corner. 6 seconds remaining on the power play. Cy with it. Can't exit the zone. We are now full strength as the penalty expires. St. Paul, near side circle. They're going to tip it up to the high slot. That shot goes into, well, it's friendly fire. Goes to another St. Paul player, picked up by Rudolph. You got Rudolph, Donahue, Cy, Bauman, Austin. Rudolph up to Austin. He can't hold it. Falls onto the stick of a St. Paul player. St. Paul right to the slot. They're going to come around near side circle. They're going to take a shot. That's deflected by Donahue. Sails wide, picked up by Rudolph. Rudolph swings it around. Dangerous pass to Bauman right through the slot. Gets it up to Austin. Austin looking for Klenner. Nice job by Austin. Just threads the needle to Klenner right at center ice. Gannon comes on the ice. You got Rudolph, Bauman, Gannon, Donahue, Klenner. Gannon near boards. He comes off the boards looking for Klenner. Does not get there. Second effort. Nudges it over for Bauman. Klenner now off the boards. He's got Gannon streaking along the near boards. He can't handle it. He dumps it deep into the far side corner. Bauman's there off the boards. Bauman takes it around the St. Paul net. He tries to do a wraparound. He gets handled. Absolutely leveled. No call forthcoming. Icing's been waived. Kolaji's on the ice. Gets up to Gannon. Gannon back to Kolaji. Kolaji back to center ice, swarmed by Capital players as they throw it deep back behind Brody Verstraat and the Eagan net. Laurent, nice little spin move. He's joined by Kolaji and Bauman. Austin and Sy. Backhand pass to Kolaji. Kolaji finds Austin. Austin makes a move. Does not clear the zone before he has to skate back, and now he does. He clears it back to center ice. 4:56 remaining in the third period. St. Paul right down Main Street. That's a shot deflected by Laurent. Nice job, Beckett. Beckett passes over to Austin. But that puck sails free, controlled by St. Paul. So St. Paul getting some quality opportunities here late in the third. Prouty up off the boards, muscles the puck back to center ice. It's a 1-on-5. He clears it down near far side corner. He's joined by Sy and Kolaji. They're going to call that icing. He was just a couple skates behind center line. Usually they let that one go. In this instance, they will not. So Eagan with some fresh skaters on the ice. 4:22 remaining in the third period. Knotted up at 1 apiece. Donahue, Laurent, Stricker, Rudolph, and Gannon. Face-off falls to St. Paul. St. Paul, quick shot, glove save. Verstraat. So we'll line up and we'll do that again. Face-off slides all the way to the far boards. Stricker for Gannon, but they battled. Two St. Paul players came in to sandwich it. That was a rocket from the top of the circle. Gobbled up by Brody Verstraat. Shots, 18 for Eagan, 19 for St. Paul. 4:06 remaining. Stricker takes the face-off to Gannon. Gannon tries to take it right through the defenseman, but they come up, they pinch. St. Paul wanted a hook and call, no whistle forthcoming. Cleared it out to the far side. Gannon takes it back to center ice. Nice job by Stricker. He joins the push. Trying to get over to Klenner. That was tipped down by St. Paul. St. Paul comes the other way. So Eagan, they collapse on the puck and they knock it around before it stops on the stick of Bo Donahue. Donahue sends it back to center ice. Entry pass goes to St. Paul. They got to get back onside. They do. They're backhand it deep near side corner. Donahue now, he's going to send it back down to the far side of the ice. That will be icing if it gets there, and it will not get there. Icing's been waived. Brilliant job by Donahue flipping the ice. Prouty, Sy, and Austin, they were able to hold the zone. Unfortunately, they all run into each other, and St. Paul comes away with the puck. St. Paul runs into a brutal Nolan Kolaji. He knocks the puck down for Laurent. Laurent, he takes it all himself. Right to the slot. That shot, glove save. Well, the face-off near side circle to the goaltender's right-hand side in the St. Paul defensive zone. Sy, Prouty, Kolaji, Austin, and Laurent. 2:37 remaining. Prouty takes the face-off. He's got Sy on his left and Austin on his right. Slides over for Austin, back to Laurent. Laurent, backhand pass, goes D to D, back to Kolaji. Kolaji's pass going back to Laurent. Picked off by St. Paul. Kolaji, though, gathers it up, takes it himself right through the slot. Look at Kolaji go. Topside circle. He's got a zone that sails just barely wide left. As Sy gets a stick on the puck, slides up to Laurent. Laurent, he takes a one-timer. That goes off the boot of the left D of St. Paul and slides harmlessly into the far boards. Icing will be the call, but St. Paul catches up to it, and there will be a penalty against Eagan against Laurent. He was going for the puck. So they're going to call Laurent with a rough. I don't know. I don't agree with that call. He was going for the puck. Yes, it looked more physical than it needed to be. It was definitely one of those they could have let go. So Eagan goes on the 1 minute 30-second penalty kill. 1:56 remaining in the contest. So assuming Eagan can stop the power play, shot from the top of the point, patted down. Assuming we can stop, we'll get 24 seconds of 5-on-5 hockey. Gannon takes the puck, short-handed up. It's a 1-on-4. He's going to come near boards. He's going to knock it into the near side corner. Gannon, backhand pass, takes it back behind the St. Paul Capitals net. St. Paul controls the puck near boards. They're going to come cross ice. That's knocked down by Rudolph. Rudolph back to Donahue. Donahue handles the puck. Far boards taken by St. Paul. St. Paul loses the handle. Here comes Donahue coming the other way. He's got Austin. He's got Bauman on his right. So Donahue right through the slot. Look at the handles on him. Backhand pass right through the low slot. We're looking for Bauman. Bauman can't get a shot on net, but he does control the puck, so he's going to pinch it up along the near boards. Looking for Donahue. Valuable seconds ticking off of the power play clock for St. Paul. Donahue slides it over in front, right through. Bauman's there. Bauman shot. Big time stop by St. Paul. Puck is still loose. St. Paul gets it out to Donahue. Donahue back into Bauman. Bauman, he tips it up. Just goes wide left. Now Rudolph. Rudolph, he tries to wrap it around. That is covered by St. Paul. Some extracurriculars down low. 10 seconds remaining on the penalty kill. 35.2 remaining on the game clock. Klenner, Stricker, Rudolph, and Kolagi. Austin's got to get off the ice as there's still 10 seconds left on the penalty kill. Stricker, he lines up to take the face-off. Drop pass back to Rudolph. Rudolph, his shot, throws it back behind the St. Paul net. They collapse on it, 3 seconds remaining. They drive it back, looking to go D to D. No one's there, but Klenner, touch pass. That slides out, that's gloved down, 20.5 seconds remaining. Power play is over. We're back 5-on-5. We'll have a face-off deep in the St. Paul defensive zone. We've got Kolagi, Rudolph, Austin, Stricker, and Klenner. Stricker with the puck. Gets it over to, well, it's in between some skates. Pops free. Rudolph comes up on it. Handled by St. Paul. Near board, 7 seconds remaining. St. Paul, they're going to ice it. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. So that stops at 3 seconds remaining in the contest. We'll have a face-off back in the St. Paul defensive zone. What we'll need to do here is we will need our center to win the face-off and get a really quick shot off on net. Stricker wins it, drops it for Austin. Austin unable to get a shot on net. The Oregon Wildcats tie this one up 1-0 with the St. Paul Capitals. Thank you. Much better game than yesterday.
Yeah, they focused.
They did focus. Yep. And they had a lot of chances. That was good. I guess we're not done just yet.
What?
not done just yet.
What? What happened? You're not done?
So here we go, overtime. The kids have regrouped. We're back on the ice. 4-on-5 overtime hockey. Here we are, just like the juniors. You got Rudolph, Klenner, Stricker, and Kolaji on the ice for your Wildcats. Brody Verstraat getting some extra time in net. Kolaji takes the offensive ice, topside circle, nice pass to Klenner. Klenner, his shot goes right into the netminder for St. Paul. So we'll have a face-off. We've got 5 minutes of stop clock action here. Another quick shot by Egan, covered up. Same four stay on the ice. So with that face-off, Sugar takes it, slides over to Rudolph. St. Paul, they clear the zone as Kolaji and Rudolph collapse back on it. Kolaji reverses the ice. He comes up right through the slot. He's got Klenner on his left, Stricker on his right, takes himself, he shoots. That's a rebound. Cherry right for Rudolph. Rudolph tries to get a shot on net. Gets knocked away by St. Paul. St. Paul can't exit the zone. Stricker slides down and battles down in the near side corner, comes up with it. Stricker looking for Rudolph, intercepted by St. Paul. St. Paul, what a nice stretch pass. They can't catch up to it. They'll be icing. But they had the right idea. Very, very nice chance to go the other way there. But unfortunately for them, Egan will come back into the St. Paul defensive zone for a face-off. You got Prouty, Gannon on his right, Donahue behind him on his left, and Laurent behind him on his right. Prouty takes it himself, nudges it in the near side corner. St. Paul, they make a nice nifty little move to come the other way. Conway gets his pocket picked by Prouty, streaking back to the Egan zone. Prouty to Laurent. Laurent takes the puck back behind Verstraat, slides it over looking for Prouty, and now Prouty does get there. So Prouty to Donahue, to Donahue to Laurent. Laurent up to Gannon at mid-ice. Gannon can't handle the pass. St. Paul collects it and comes the other way. Now Donahue. Both teams kind of struggling to figure out how to play 4-on-4 hockey. Donahue over to Gannon. Gannon at the St. Paul blue line. He taps it into the offensive zone, but unable to control the puck. So here comes St. Paul with another offensive opportunity. They come near side. Poke check by Donahue. Gets it to Prouty. Prouty. He's coming the other way. Gannon lost an edge. Prouty takes it himself. It's a 1-on-3. Now he's got Donahue. Gannon comes off the ice for Austin. Nice job. Donahue holds it in the near side corner before it's popped free. We've got Cy, Laurent, Austin, and Donahue. It's a 1-on-1 going the other way as Cy is forced to play some defense, and he does so brilliantly. Cy takes it off the stick of the left winger, takes it back to center ice. Before he gets support, Rudolph is now on the ice. Rudolph takes the puck to center ice and then some. He gets it knocked around. That's offside Egan. So we will have a neutral ice drop. VAR bubble. St. Paul side of the ice. 2:08 remaining in the extra period. Austin is going to line up to take the face-off. Cy on his left. Rudolph and Kolaji behind him. St. Paul wins the face-off. They're looking to go D-to-D. Now they decide to do a stretch pass to the center logo. St. Paul breaks down. That's a shot and save by Verstraat. So Brody keeping us in the game. Nice save. Well, the face off his left-hand side, near side circle. Rudolph, Cy, Austin, Kalaji. St. Paul wins the face-off. They throw it in the far side corner, picked up by Rudolph. Rudolph up the boards to Austin. Austin, he's looking to hit Cy. He does. So Cy, near ice, beautifully collected that puck. He's got Kalaji streaking up, but St. Paul doing a nice job cutting him off. Now Rudolph from the point. That's a bouncing puck and a glove save by St. Paul. So we'll have a face-off near side circle, Eagan offensive zone. Eagan doing a really nice job getting quality shots on goal in the extra frame. Donahue, Laurent, Stricker, and Bauman. Stricker, near boards looking for Donahue. That slides past Donahue. Comes up the ice to the center ice. Stricker's back, great back check. Shot, wide left. Picked up by Laurent. Laurent along the far boards. Picked up at the point by St. Paul. Good job by Bauman. Yeah, Bauman. So Bauman gets a stick on it. Slides over to Stricker. Stricker tries to hit the offensive zone. Comes back to Laurent. Laurent, he holds it, sends it for Donahue. Donahue gets lost between his feet. Puck is loose out front. And this is a little bit helter-skelter as it ends back up on the stick of Donahue. Donahue up to Stricker. Stricker slides up for Elliott Bauman. Bauman to a high slot, back to Stricker. Now Stricker sends it down near side corner. Picked up by St. Paul. They're going to wrap it around their goaltender to the far boards. Eagan, scary opportunity there as there were three streaking defensemen. Not defensemen, but Capitals. So now St. Paul comes the other way. It's a 2-on-1. Goes back. They're going to come back all the way. That's a shot. Big time save. Fair shot. Right into the chest pad. Bounces out to Donahue. Donahue comes up. 20 seconds left. Donahue, he surveys the ice. He's going to take a shot. That's a glove save and drops at 13 seconds remaining. Puck is loose. Far corner. Kalaji's there. 6 seconds. Puck is back to center ice. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. And Eagan comes up empty in the extra frame as the game officially ends 1-1. 27 shots on goal for Eagan Wildcats. 21 seconds, or 21 shots on goal for the...
Are they doing double overtime?
Looks like we have the ice until 5:45. So we're going to do double overtime?
Double overtime.
Double overtime. All right, getting the reps in. Let's see if they switch the goalies back to McPherson. Or if they leave Verstraat, who's got the hot glove. Oh, it looks like it's a shootout. All right, not double OT. So we will do a shootout here.
I think their legs are tired. So.
Yeah, I think the legs are tired. So this is probably better. You're right, Chenhao. So McPherson starts off in net for Eagan Wildcats. Number 57 for St. Paul calmly skates to the center logo to take his first shot. Comes up near side, then slides right through the low slot. He comes around backhand. Nice block by Noah McPherson. So McPherson slides over, takes his right pad, and keeps that puck out of the net. Your first skater for the Eagan Wildcats is Titan Stricker. Stricker waiting for the go-ahead. There's the whistle. St. Paul goaltender's ready. He's in his crease. He comes out, cutting off the shooting lane. Stricker right through the low slot. His shot. Oh, just sails high. He was looking for that top corner. Just missed it high. So far, both goaltenders doing their jobs, keeping the puck out of the net. Number 67 from St. Paul. He steps onto the ice and up to the puck. Brody Verstraat back in net for your Wildcats. Just like the player before, he comes near side, Backhand, big time. Bad save by Verstraat. So 67, trying a little bit of sorcery. He came along the near boards just like number 57 did. But instead of going back to his forehand, he stayed on his backhand, and Verstraat saved that. Beckett Laurent effortlessly skates down the ice. He comes topside circle. He tries to skate it around, and that gets poked away by the St. Paul goaltender. So Beckett Laurent trying some dangles of his own, has that puck knocked away. After 2 attempts apiece, we hold at 0. McPherson back in net. Number 15 for St. Paul Capitals. Collects the puck at the center logo. Takes it out of the cat's mouth. Comes right down Main Street. He goes forehand. But McPherson stays with him the entire way. So your third player taking the penalty or power play shootout shot. All sorts of words and none of them make sense right now. Elliot Bauman, number 98. He comes around. Elliot Bauman! He puts Eagan up by 1. Both benches clear. Eagan sails down and across Elliot Bauman as he wins it for Eagan Wildcats here.
Fun game to get back to school tomorrow.
Very fun game. And now we get to go home and go to bed. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
Back in.
I don't know there is a sudden this in the shootout.
No, I think that usually it's out of 4. Or 5, I don't know, but I wonder if they just did sudden death.
Okay.